Hey, good people, Davia here, and welcome to Tales from the Shaker, a Davia Williams Stevenson podcast. I have just the bomb of a person here today, my girl, Demia Kandi. I'm going to read a little bit about her professional life, but what's going to happen today is I'm going to take you just on a journey with me. Because Demia and I, whenever we get together, it just feels so powerful. We don't have an agenda. Usually I have a topic, but I just say buckle up because I imagine that God is going to show up because he always does. And as is always my hope that you'll connect with us and that you'll leave inspired to shake things up in your own life. So Demia is the founding partner of Significance LLC, consulting firm specializing in training, strategy, and program design, a global leader, yes you are, with an innate ability to guide and influence others. Demia is a change agent with a niche for identifying best practices and a content expert in the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion. A native of Columbus, Ohio, Demia earned her bachelor's degree in psychology from The Ohio State University, a master's in family studies. She's a passionate facilitator and motivational speaker. I know that even personally, I've been very much motivated, not just in the business and professional development, but people development. I get that. According to Demia, and I love this seems very much in line with your character, as I know, success is subjective. Being significant requires having impact and changing lives forever. It is my goal to help companies reach beyond success to significance. I just love that. But others of us know Demia as kind of an Olivia Pope character. She is no nonsense, tells it to you straight, helps you get things done, helps you get things done, and often kind of flies under the radar because people don't really know what you do. But you are who you want to call in an emergency, and I know that to be true personally. Um, I met Demia. We're not even sure we were talking about that. It hasn't been that long. This isn't a long-term friendship. It was one of those that seemed to bypass all formalities. You had a word for it earlier as we were talking about
It's so interesting because when you think about divine appointments, it's being at the right place at the right time. And we were at a friend's house, a mutual friend, and it was right before Christmas. And I was busy baking and knee deep in cooking. And my husband was like, we were invited to our mutual friend's home. And I was like, I love her, I love him, but I'm exhausted. And then something in my spirit said, you're supposed to go. So I threw on a shirt and we walked out of the door. And I was there and I was just drawn to you. And what's so interesting, Davia, is I don't even remember our conversation. I just remember the impact of conversations that night and a bond that was forged with us.
And the second time we saw one another was at that same friend's house.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I think things were solidified. We learned more about our mutual passions and that kind of thing. And so generally with my guests, I've got a particular story I want them to tell that I know about their life, that I think will be inspiring. And we didn't have that space today. I think your entire persona is inspiring. And so we said, we'll do what we always do. We'll show up, we'll have conversation, and we'll see what comes out, what we believe, what God does with it.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned divine appointment, and I do feel that way. There's a divine appointment. You spoke into my life that day. Matter of fact, I can tell you that Tales from the Shaker, Demia, and one other woman who is going to also be a guest at some point, people I didn't know very well, challenged me in such a way that I felt accountable. I didn't have your number. I sent you a Facebook message.
Yeah,
I'm doing this. And it was remarkable. I think that drive in you to move people beyond success, to have them see their opportunity for significance. I wouldn't have had words for that, but I think that resonated with me. Demia, we laugh about when you have your show, and I'm going to want a little credit. I'm not going to spill that right now, but I'm going to want a little bit of credit for the title.
Yes.
When it comes out,
Yes.
you guys will all very much agree with me. But I was thinking about, since we talk about how remarkable this relatively young friendship is, let's just talk about friendship.
Mm.
We are grown ass women,
Mm-hmm.
I can say,
Mm-hmm.
and we're seasoned, but well seasoned.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think. I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at you right now. I'm like, well seasoned. So we've been through some things in some relationships.
Yeah.
And I think friendship is it's a very important holds a very important place in our lives from early development on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have friends, people that you can trust to help you process your life.
Mm-hmm.
It can be very lonely,
Mm-hmm.
and I think unbalanced.
Yeah.
However, there's also room for, like, all the stuff that can happen in relationships,
Right.
happens in friendships.
Yeah.
Can you share any anecdote or experience around friendship that, I don't know, that struck you, that brought a particular learning?
Well, let me say this. First, I'm real clear about friendship. So for me, I find this notion, I hear it the more we age, and I'm 52. I'm proud to be in my 50s. But the one thing I notice is people tie quantity to relationships. That's my girlfriend from kindergarten. We've been best friends since. And I find that interesting because it's never how I lead, or it has no value to me. Just Demia. It's always the quality of relationship, because I can connect with someone, a stranger. I could leave here today, connect with a stranger in a way that's so meaningful, that's so soul filled, if you will, that person becomes a part of me in a healthy way that is closer than someone I've known my entire life. And so I never place value on how long I have been friends with someone. I hear that in marriages. Oh, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. Are you happy? Do you still chase each other around the house? Is he still pinching your butt cheeks? Are you still like, hey, boo? Like, that's what I listen for, and that's what I strive to be. I don't care about how many years. I care about the quality of. So in any relationship, in any friendship, it's always the quality of the relationship. And the gift to me, a gift in friendship is consistency. And that's something I taught my children, especially when you're coming home. And my daughter came home and her bestie today, she's not speaking to her. Tomorrow she is. And I said, Kennedy, the greatest gift you can give in a relationship, yes, trust, all that other stuff, but it's consistency. That I know every time I encounter Davia, I'm going to get Davia, not, okay, what version am I going to get today? And those that know me, Davia, I do this.
And you would call that out. Don't recognize that
Listen,
version.
we have a phrase. I call to play, coach. Call to play. I'm going to run it every time.
Yeah,
are we speaking today? Do we know? Oh, you don't know me today? Okay, cool. Call to play, coach. I'm gonna run it every time.
Yeah,
if you don't know me,
that.
I don't know you. I'm not playing these games. I'm not running up behind you. But to me, it speaks to this notion of consistency. Oh, we cool today? Oh, you saw me on a trip with Davia, so now we cool. But you knew me for years, but now we're friends. So it's that notion of consistency that I feel like we don't talk about in relationships. Are you gonna be who you are all the time? Because that's when I know something's off.
But you know what? I wonder, because everyone goes through developmental phases.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times when I don't know that you know who you are. Now, maybe you've never been through those spaces. I have. Matter of fact, even where I am now, I feel like I'm evolving more into who I am. I think it's a freedom. I don't know if it comes from age or if it comes from gaining wisdom from these relationships. And I just have an appreciation for the brevity of time. And I don't have the time to be somebody else,
right?
To try to understand what's in somebody else's mind. I will trust you to share your thoughts with me.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to spend my time trying to figure you out. I'm going to be wrong anyway.
Right.
I'm going to be wrong anyway. And then I'll miss you. And so but there may have been a time, maybe had we met 7-8 years ago, when there was a different version of Dave. Still me. I think my core person has always been the same, but my ability to be free within this space was not the same. Do you see room? Do you allow room for that in this consistency paradigm?
Absolutely. The spirit of a person doesn't change though, and I always see spirit first. Yeah. So I see your spirit before you open your mouth. It resonates with me. My spirit will bear witness with your spirit or not, and I won't know why. So, for example, I won't say the name, but there's a well-known Black actress, and my spirit never agreed with her spirit for decades. It just never agreed. And then she did a talk show, and she talked about how she was pretty much, I think she called herself a troll, and she was like a mean girl. And I said, I knew it. Just something about her. My spirit never agreed with her spirit. There's another person recently who even had a tagline about kindness and has a talk show, and something in their spirit was just, something I just felt like, something about this just doesn't feel right. And then it came out. It came out that it was a hostile work environment and all these other things. I'm a believer, and the Bible says test the spirit by the spirit. And I believe that. And I rely heavily on my discernment, and I see your spirit first. And so what happens is I'll challenge you when I see the disconnect. So I would say to someone who talks high but lives low, hey, your spirit wants to be here, but the way that you function, the things that you do, are here. And so there's room for grace, but I don't have to be a casualty in your war.
Okay. See, the thing I didn't do this time with you was have my pen ready. I have my notebook, but I didn't know if it was appropriate to take notes while I'm doing okay.
Whatever, Davia.
Yeah, no, seriously. I appreciate a wordsmith. We talk about that all the time, but I do take notes. We had a conversation a few months ago, and turned out we were both taking notes while we were just having a conversation, and came out with things that were really, really beneficial. I will tell you this, though, has been my experience in, I don't know, recent years. I'm in my 50s, since I've been in my 50s. I have observed more girl drama. I hadn't seen or been a part of anything like that since middle school. So I thought we didn't do that. And so I didn't recognize it when it was happening. It was a dissonance to me. Now I see that in pockets around, and I don't understand. So I know part of you study people, not just in your professional context, when you talk about your spiritual discernment, but also know that your training, psychology degree, family studies, all those kind of things. So you have an appreciation for developmental stages. I don't get it. I'm a clinician. And I work with families, and I largely work with women. And I know that most of our struggles are in somewhere in the identity space. But it's so interesting to me that grown folk, and I'm speaking to women, but I imagine this might be going on in male circles as well. I don't know. Like, what is that? Why now? Why at this time when we should all be free, when we've lived enough life to celebrate the next person's, get ahead, come up, whatever. I help me with that one.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to call it what I believe to be so. People lack the ability to see their own ugly, even though they think they can. And that's what I mean about talking high and living low. Because when you can see your own ugly, it holds you accountable in a way that in a lifestyle that most people don't live. They talk it, but they don't live it. And so I also believe that gossip is addictive. And once you're in it, and I believe it's a spirit and it attaches. And so I had a situation very recently where someone disclosed to me that women that I love, that are my friends, were talking about a post that I made. And it was so painful. And to those that I shared with, they were like, why is this so painful for you? I mean, people are shady. That's what they do. Why is this affecting you so deeply? And I said, because I've done the work and I only attract people who have done the work. And so, because I believe that you're a product of your environment, but you always have to look at the common denominator. So if everybody around me shady, and I'm always talking about why is everybody so shady, I attract shade, and I have to address that. And so in this situation, as painful as it was, I knew that I cannot go to this person because to reveal the source would be to harm the source. Yes. And I'm not going to do that. But it is someone with whom I have ongoing communication, and it is severe betrayal. And I know that this person, they want to be right, but they missed in a way that I can forgive them, but I see them. And we will never be as close. I might play close, but I see you.
Yeah, I completely identify with that. I'm thinking of a few friendships of recent. When I say recent, I'm talking recent years or so, where once revealed, in honesty, you might get a better Davia because I'm only showing up when I want to. I see who you are, and though you might have once been here, all up here, I move you here.
Yep.
But with a level of intention I didn't have before, you will never know the difference. Because it wasn't necessary. Now, when it's necessary to address, and it taught me a thing too about myself. I believe that when you love someone, when you love a friend, when you love a child, when you love someone, it's worth a difficult conversation. We are all going to fail. There is always going to be those moments when you may disappoint or hurt someone. But it's worth a difficult conversation. It also said to me, wow, I was not aware of, the word is not disingenuous. I don't know. I can't find the word right now. I didn't feel this particular situation or individual was worth a difficult conversation. So I just made the adjustment, like you. Very much still in my life, I don't feel I'm in any way disingenuous. I care very much enjoy them. But my heart, the core of me, stays protected. Is that relating to what?
Absolutely. Yeah. You just said it so much better than I could have. I won't discard because people are not trash and they are not to be discarded. But I do believe that it's like so many of the foundational principles of parenting affect us. I think I'm a better professional because I was a parent. Not that if I wasn't a parent, I wouldn't be a great professional. Sure. But for me, yes, those principles really translate well. And so I learned very early the capabilities of my children. It didn't mean that I loved them less, but I knew what they were capable of that they didn't know within themselves. That's my job.
You study them.
So for this group of women who I know had me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I know what they're capable of, even when they don't know it about themselves. And I know that these women will hurt me again, not in my face. I still love them. I'm still in relationship with them. But I know what you're capable of, even if you don't know it about yourself. Now, here's the beauty. Here's the beauty and the pain. Because it's so easy to say, cut them off, all that. But then I do the work and I always say, okay, Lord, show me where I've done that to someone. And when he shows me my ugly, I always look at me first. Number one, what did I do that made them think that as close as we were, that it was okay for me to be on the chopping block? But then I thought, when have I been in their company and allowed them, what does it our mother say? A dog that'll bring a bone will carry one, or something like that. Some type of a dog that brings a bone will carry one. Whatever that, those of you out there, you know the phrase. But what it's saying is, if they're going to talk to you about someone else, they're going to talk about you. to someone else.
I know.
And this is such I'm almost embarrassed that we're having this conversation at 52 because Davia, I don't live this life like you don't.
I know.
I don't know gossipy women. I was sharing it with my husband and we were just like, because we didn't raise children they don't gossip. They don't go there. They don't talk about people. They're very uncomfortable with that because I saw it in our community so much that I made sure that my children, oh, you don't come in here. You're best friends with Jessica. And so you and Jessica fell out. Okay, let's talk about the concern. Baby, you're not going to talk about Jessica. You can talk about the concern you have with Jessica and teaching them that difference early on. Address the problem, but we don't talk about people. If she's still going to be your friend. And so I had to model that. They've never heard me have someone for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Never. And so they don't do it. And so when I was sharing it with my husband, I was crying. And he was like, I guess I know this world exists. But when you don't gossip, you don't hang around people who gossip.
It has gone over my head so many times. And I lament that ignorance, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because then it's like, well, and then I said, okay, show me when I thought I was venting and I crossed the line into gossip. Yeah. And then it was like, oh, you want to see? Because I do, I'm comfortable with, I don't like it, but show me me. Yeah. And I started to see, oh, so when we were here and then I said that, and then I told her and I called myself warning her about, oh, so I extend grace and love to those women because I have done it too, not to that extent and not somebody that close in my circle, but I knew because it pained me so much. It hurt me so much because it was such an act of kindness what I was doing. And so for them to, I went away with a group of people. And one of them was a young person that I really, really love. And the older women talked about it like, what's she doing out here kicking it with? And she don't know. And they don't think I know.
Well, they might know now.
Good. I know what you said.
What is that song? You so vain. You probably think this song's about you.
I bet you think this song is about you. And you don't know that I know, but I know you did it. But here's what's beautiful. At some point in my life, I've done it too. And I forgive you. I forgive you. That was a hard lesson to learn. How dare you? And how dare we all? So I'm going to be better. I'm going to grow. And guess what? At 52, I had to come back to, I have this theory about middle school. Who you are in middle school is who you are. Who you are, that's the core. Who you are in middle school is who you are. And I had to go back to some middle school mess to redefine who I was going to be. Okay. And I came out of that situation because I was very middle school, Davia.
Yeah, it was.
What?
It was.
You're my girl.
Yeah. I'm thinking of a couple related topics.
Yeah.
Boundaries. Mm-hmm. How do you have healthy boundaries in those places? And the other thing, we talked about kind of the danger of gossip and how some people are brought together, but what are also some green flags in relationships?
The good stuff. The good stuff.
What? You talked about how we were drawn together. You recognize my spirit. I recognize you. I get that. But we've had some encounters now.
Yeah.
And we've had some deep conversations. And we're still moving forward. What are some of the green flags that you see in relationships that allow you to keep moving forward?
Oh, it's an energy where you feel whole, you feel rejuvenated, you feel like you can conquer the world just sharing space with that person. It's mutual exchange. I was just having a conversation with someone about mutual exchange. I don't have any relationships that don't have mutual exchange, where we're not pouring into each other, where there's not this vacillation between mentor and mentee. And the beauty is seeing it flip.
Yeah.
When your mentee mentors you, and when you get to mentor the mentee, or however it works. But there's something beautiful about that, where you're constantly pouring into, lifting up, coaching and guiding. Like I said earlier today, I don't need cheerleaders. I'm not that person. I need coaches. I need people who can call the play. What's the strategy? Who know who I am and hold me to it. Who will pull my coat. I say this all the time, tap my shoulder. who will say, hey, sis, that ain't you. It was cute, but take that down. And I've had people do that. And that's what I want. People who are not afraid to correct you in love, who are healthy and whole in their thoughts.
It's not about competition.
Nope.
It's not about bringing you down.
It's
about putting forth your best self.
They talk more about ideas than people.
Yeah.
And you just feel lighter, and they see you, I say this to young people, marry someone who can see you in the future. You don't need somebody that accepts you now. You need someone who can see you in the future, especially men, because we are detail oriented, gender bias. I know, I'm sorry. But historically, data suggests we tend to be more administrative, which makes us more detail oriented. And so someone who can see you in the future. How dare I just see you here?
In that position, I'm losing my words today. You're just talking about potential. I want to support your potential because I think you have to have both. I think you have to have acceptance for who you have and hope for who they'll be. And what you're saying is, I'm in your corner on that journey.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sorry. For me, that goes without saying, but thank you for saying that. For me, we wouldn't even share space if I didn't honor you. Not just accept, I honor you. I rock with you right here, right now. My friends know I will say I rock with you, all caps on a regular. Like I rocks with you. Vernacular intended, on purpose. Because sometimes you just, that green flag is, you know it when you see it. You spot her across the room. People think that, I don't think soulmates are romantic at all. I don't have that theory. I think that they are people that you're like, we from the same, I don't know how we got here, but we family, we kin. Like you have these spiritual kinships with people and you know each other and you can spot each other and it's just something about it. And game recognize game. So good women, no good women.
We are drinking. We'll have sip it down. You said cheers. I know my girl also enjoys bourbon. And we're talking about friendships, which is a grounded type of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's old fashioned.
Yeah, well, see.
So it's classic old fashioned using Maker's Mark, a couple dashes of bitters, some simple syrup. We make our own simple syrup. We have brown sugar simple syrup. And a little bit of orange peel that I rubbed around and put around the glass and dropped in. What am I missing? The Bouchardot cherries. Pretty good, I think.
So
what
good.
You think?
It's
all right,
so
one
good.
One more time, sis. So this has been Cheers. I don't know what number episode we're on, but another episode of Tales from the Shaker, a Davia Williams Stevenson podcast. Thank you, sis, for just showing up and seeing what would happen. I hope that this conversation about friendship resonates with people. I believe that it will. I hope it encourages folks to pay attention to themselves as well as others and to continue to grow and find people that allow you to be free.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Cheers.